Uche and Eze had always been more than siblings, they were best friends. After their parents tragically passed away in an accident, the two found themselves alone in the world, with nothing but each other to lean on. Growing up, they promised to always look out for one another, a vow that became the foundation of their lives. Each day, they worked tirelessly, performing odd jobs in their small village to scrap together enough to eat and pay for their modest shelter. Despite the hardships, Uche and Eze never complained. They had each other, and that was more than enough to keep them going. Their laughter and shared secrets filled their humble home with warmth and love, making their burdens a bit lighter. The bond they shared was unbreakable, or so they believed, until a fateful encounter changed everything. One sunny afternoon, as Uche sold fruits at the local market, a young man named Ethan approached her stall. He was well-dressed and had a charming smile that immediately caught Uche's attention. They struck up a conversation, and Ethan revealed that he was a businessman looking for local suppliers for his stores in the city. Uche was intrigued and saw an opportunity not just for business, but something stirred in her heart as well. Over the next few weeks, Ethan visited Uche frequently, each visit making her heart flutter a bit more. He was polite, attentive, and seemed genuinely interested in her life. As their friendship grew, so did Uche's feelings for Ethan, and it wasn't long before she found herself falling for him. When Uche introduced Ethan to Eze, he was overjoyed. Eze saw Ethan's interest in Uche as a chance for her to escape the relentless cycle of poverty they were stuck in. He encouraged Uche, telling her that marrying Ethan could be the change they needed. Imagine, Uche, a life where you don't have to worry about tomorrow's meal, Eze would say, his eyes bright with hope. Uche, influenced by her brother's enthusiasm and her own growing feelings, allowed herself to dream of a life with Ethan. Ethan was everything they could have hoped for: kind, generous, and seemingly transparent about his life. A few months after they met, Ethan proposed to Uche, and she accepted, her heart full of joy and hope. The wedding was a simple affair but filled with genuine happiness. Soon after the wedding, Uche's life transformed dramatically. Ethan whisked her away on a lavish honeymoon to exotic locations that Uche had only dreamed of visiting. They stayed in luxurious resorts, dined at the finest restaurants, and explored scenic locales that seemed straight out of a fairy tale. As they settled into married life, Ethan showered Uche with expensive gifts, designer clothes, jewelry, and even a sports car. Uche, who had never known such luxury, was dazzled by her new lifestyle. She attended high society parties and met people she had only read about in magazines. Each day brought new pleasures and experiences, and Uche found herself getting accustomed to a life of opulence. However, this lavish lifestyle came at a dark cost. One night, under the guise of a celebratory dinner, Ethan revealed his true nature. He was involved in dark rituals that required human sacrifices to maintain his wealth and lifestyle. The next sacrifice needed was Eze. At first, Uche was horrified, but as she considered the life of luxury she now led, her resolve wavered. The fear of returning to poverty and losing the glamorous life she had come to enjoy clouded her judgment. Torn between her love for her brother and the seductive allure of her new life, Uche faced an agonizing decision. The opulent gifts, the memories of their extravagant travels, and the comfort of financial security weighed heavily on her. Ultimately, the layer of luxury led her down a path of unimaginable betrayal. Under the pretense of discussing business, Ethan and Uche lured Eze to a secluded room during the dinner. What happened next was a blur of terror and heartbreak. Ethan performed the ritual, and Uche, in shock, could not stop him. Eze's life was taken. His last confused and betrayed glances seared into Uche's memory forever. Following Ethan's dark demands, Uche was forced to engage in nightly rituals with her brother's corpse. Each night was a torment, her brother's lifeless eyes a constant reminder of her betrayal. She began to lose pieces of herself, her mind slowly succumbing to the horror of her actions. As days turned into weeks, Eze's spirit began to manifest, haunting Uche in every shadow, every silent moment. His presence grew stronger, a spectral condemnation of her betrayal. Uche's sanity began to unravel, the guilt and ghostly visits eating away at her. One fateful night, overwhelmed by the haunting and her own crumbling psyche, Uche ran into the streets, screaming confessions of her deeds. The villagers, awakened by her cries, listened in horror as she recounted everything from Ethan's true nature to the gruesome rituals. Ethan, hearing of her public confession, also succumbed to madness, his mind overwhelmed by his own dark deeds and the unraveling of everything he had built. Both he and Uche were eventually found, muttering incoherently, lost to the world and themselves. The village was in shock. The tale of Uche and Eze, once a story of resilience and love, became a grim reminder of the corruption that greed and evil could bring. The villagers could hardly believe that the kind and loving Uche they knew could do such a thing, yet the evidence was undeniable. In the end, Uche was taken away, her fate a somber topic among those who had known her. Ethan's properties were investigated, revealing more about his horrific activities. The village slowly healed, but the memory of what had happened lingered like a dark shadow. Years later, the story of Uche and Eze became a cautionary tale told to warn against the dangers of trust misplaced and the deep scars that betrayal could leave. Their house stood empty, a solemn monument to their once unbreakable bond. And while life continued, the echoes of Uche's screams and Eze's silent, betrayed gaze haunted the village, a perpetual reminder of the darkness that once walked among them. This tragic story, spanning 25 chapters, explores the depths of human emotion, the stark contrasts between light and darkness, and the profound consequences of our choices.